Hey guys, welcome back. For today's vlog, I just want to do a little quick update review of the new DJI Active Action 4 that I recently picked up. I only really had it for a couple of days. I haven't done anything drifting or anything with it yet. Just want to do a quick little update, first impressions, etc. And then obviously I've got a few events coming up. After I've done those, I'll do a little bit more in-depth review on it, how it acts, and like what I figured out, what I found for obviously more intense usage. So I've been playing around with it, mucking around with a few settings and stuff like that. Have been putting it, been using it kind of as a dash cam, just sort of trial it, pointing into the car, pointing out of the car, like all sorts of different kind of angles, just kind of test the different light settings and stuff like that. A few things I've noticed so far. To be honest, haven't actually found a negative with it yet. Probably the only negative I have, so it has this little magnetic mount on the bottom that also has clips on the side. The only negative that I've found so far, when I try to undo the clips, this kind of gets a little bit in the way, trying to get in there and get it. I haven't got the skinniest of fingers, I've got chubby little fat fingers. Honestly, that is the only kind of negative that can be a little bit tough to get the one on this side because the little arm's in the way. But in saying that, you kind of loosen that off a little bit and you can get it off. That's almost the only negative I have for it so far, which is really nothing at all. The actual camera itself seems really sturdy. Obviously, I haven't dropped it or thrown it around or done anything stupid with it. Seems really, really sturdy. Some fairly rough roads around near our work where I've been using it as a camera. I have got the image stabilizer on. There's a couple of different levels. I'm using Rocksteady. There is Rocksteady Plus, which kind of crops it a little bit. And then there's obviously off. We have nothing. I'm just using the normal Rocksteady. It's a normal frame size, normal image frame size. It's actually, I find it really effective. As I said, with the roads around me, I literally kind of just quickly threw a mount up this afternoon. I've got a GoPro suction mount that I just put on the windscreen. I couldn't get it to line up properly, so I've just undone all the sort of adjustment knobs on it and kind of let it a little bit loose, so it was sort of almost just hanging from the mount. And even then I could see it moving around a little bit. Watched the video when I came home. The video is still rock steady. You can see it has that very slow, like you see in image stabilization in your phone usually. It has that very, all sort of inbuilt in like your SLRs and things like that, has a very slow kind of movement as it's sort of keeping up with the camera movement, but very, very minor and really effective. Yeah, for a little camera like this, super effective image stabilization. So going to be interested to see what it's like on the track. Don't know why I can't talk tonight. Going to be very keen to see what it's like actually on the drift car. Obviously, that's a lot more brutal, especially with my driving. I'm not the smoothest yet, far from. So going to be very interested to see how that goes. The other thing I've noticed, the inbuilt mic, really good, clear sound. Just the levels are a little bit low. To be honest, we don't buy these because of the audio out of them. That being said, it does have. We take it out to make it easier. So this is the little cage that comes with a little frame. It is plastic. I am going to get a aftermarket. You can get some aftermarket aluminium ones, metal ones. I'm going to be getting one of those to put on it. Still kind of tossing up which one to go. There's about 3 different brands that I'm looking at. At this stage, I will most probably, I think the Niwa or the small rig are the ones that I'm looking at. Sort of the 2 that are leading. I think I can't remember, one of them opens from the side, so basically the side flaps down. So this one has like a spring-loaded, so it kind of just expands the mount, and you kind of feed the camera in from the front. There is a small rig and Niwa one, I can't remember which is which. One of them has a similar sort of thing. It sort of unlatches and that whole side folds down, and you just feed the camera in through the side. The other one has kind of like the old GoPro cases, but the back folds down and you feed the camera in from the back. That one seems to lock in a little bit better. Obviously this thing, if it's on the side of a drift car, I don't want the case coming out or coming undone and the camera flying out. So I want to make sure I get something that locks very positively and stays safe, doesn't have a camera go scuttering off the track halfway around. Yeah, that's the little case that comes with it. The other thing is most of the aftermarket cases, when you put this one in that way, on this side of the camera is actually your little battery slide section. When it's in this case, can't actually get into it. It's blocked off. Most of the aftermarket cases I found actually have another basically access panel that you can unclip there, so you don't have to take it out of the case. Still get access to all your battery and your memory card in there as well if you need a bit of memory card. As for the camera itself, really, really rock steady. It has these magnetic mount points, so rather than a traditional GoPro, you'd have to put in a case, or you'd have to do something, some sort of a cage or whatever to access it, or to put mounts on it. This actually has, well, I mean, I know the new ones have the little fold-out arms and stuff. This actually has a magnetic mount, so the base and the side, in the cage you can do the side, the base and on the side of the cage, on that side, have these little magnetic sections, so you can see it actually just clips on. It does have the little arms that clip in as well, that once you push it in, clips into place and locks it in properly. The same on the camera. So the base of the camera has the same thing, knocking stuff off, same thing, it'll lock on, and it's only one way. If you try and put it on backwards, it wants to push it away. Lock on one way, clip it on, and it is rock steady. Like, it's not going anywhere. I'm actually quite comfortable with that, and having that as an attachment point on the car. It actually seems really, really rock steady. So yeah, quite happy with it so far. In terms of settings and stuff, I have kind of played around. I've had a look at a bunch of YouTube videos of, people's best settings they're using for different situations and cinematic shooting and portrait and low light and whatever. You can do a bunch of presets in there, which I have done. It's a very quick kind of, you can see there's a bunch of C1, C2, C3 presets. So it'll change your, look, you can actually see, you look close up the top. It's hard doing this backwards. Look close at the top, the settings, oh my goodness. Let's try that again. So if you look close as I scroll through, the settings at the top actually change. So you can set a whole bunch of different presets in there. I've put a bunch of different ones in there. How effective they're going to be, I don't know. I have played around with a bunch of different ones just to see what they're like. The main thing I have found, there is a DM log. It's basically the raw, like the log file when you're shooting. So in still photography, we have your raw image, which is usually CR2, CR3, depending on what you're shooting and what generation you're shooting. In video, you have your log file. Essentially, it's the raw data. So when you take a photo with a digital image or with a digital processor or digital camera, video, whatever it is, when you take an image or a video, that camera will then do a bunch of things to that file or that data to compress it, to color correct it, to do a whole bunch of different stuff to make it look like the photo that you see or the image you're trying to see through your eyes that you're trying to take a record of. Doing a D-log or a raw image, it'll actually just save the raw data. It won't process any of that. What that means is the file's going to be bigger, but what it does mean is when you come back to post-process and edit it, rather than having an image that is already partly processed to what the computer thinks that, or the image processor in your camera, video, whatever it is, rather than having an image that's been processed by it to what it thinks you want, or what you've kind of set the settings to, you have the pure raw data, so you can actually play with it a lot more. It helps with a lot of underexposure, overexposure issues, helps with color correcting, all sorts of stuff. So when you first record it, it kind of looks a little bit dull and bland and kind of colorless, almost not black and white, but it does very toned down colors. But what it does mean is when you actually go to post-process it and edit it, you get a lot more options, a lot more viability out of the stuff you've got, and you can get some really cool looking images. Thankfully, there are some very quick shortcuts to put different LUTs and images, basically filters over the top of the video to make it nice and quick to edit it and get the image you're looking for, which is really cool. But yeah, there's a lot of functionality. There's a lot of manual settings and stuff that you can kind of play with and really get the look you're going for. At the moment, as I said, because I haven't tried it on the track, I don't 100% know what I'm going for yet. There is a few that I've seen similar sort of situations, car racing and stuff, where people have used and put their settings up. I've saved them as a preset. I'll have a play around with them when I'm at Pheasantwood. It's going to be interesting because Pheasantwood is a daytime event, and then South Circuit is a nighttime event. So I'm going to have two very different polar opposites. Night video is something that's very interesting because obviously you need a longer shutter speed, or you need a much higher ISO. It's going to bring a lot of noise. It's going to make it a lot more interesting to get the video. So there is a lot of light on South Circuit, like the track lights and stuff. It is quite bright, but it is also overhead. So in the car itself, like doing videos like I normally do of it pointing back to me, it's going to be very harsh, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark as you're going through those light spots, or as the lights are going overhead. Face is probably going to be fairly dark. Body's probably going to be bright with the lights coming through the window. So it's going to be interesting to see. So hopefully shooting in the log file will actually help with that. I'll be able to compensate for that in post. But really keen to try it. A few accessories that I want to get for this. As I said before, aluminium cage. I want to get some filters for it. With the style of lens you have, this actually does undo. You can get different lenses for it, but you can also get some filters that literally just run, that basically pop over the top of that little edge there. You can kind of get filters, ND filters and polarizing filters that you can put over the top. I want to get a couple of those to put on there. Shooting in bright light, it does help with that as well, especially if I'm shooting like different shutter speeds and stuff that I want to play around with, and sort of slower shutter speeds in bright light. It's going to be blown out, so putting the ND filter on is going to let me shoot in smaller shutter speeds, get motion blur when we're doing movement, stuff like that in drifting. So yeah, going to be interesting to do. The other thing, I want to get a couple more these little connectors. Get my fat fingers in there. It's very weird because you're not sure if it's unclipped or not, and then it's like the magnet's pulling on. But yeah, these little connector pieces here, you can buy them aftermarket. I want to get a bunch of those. It is so easy just to clip between mounts and connections and whatnot. I want to get a few of those and have like one on the helmet. I'm not cheating because I've got a faceless, but have one on my helmet. Like have them in the car ready to go on different little mounts, so I can just literally clip from one to the other. The other thing I did get with this, which is going to be interesting, when I bought the camera, the guide actually had a DJI do a backpack mount, or a backpack strap mount. So it basically goes onto your strap of your backpack, and then your camera clips on here, so if you're going hiking or whatever. It's kind of a cool little point of view. I'm going to put that on my racing harness, so I can actually clip it onto my racing harness here as a slightly different point of view, which would be kind of funky. Put on like a wide angle here and just have that front facing. Hopefully you don't get armed too much in the way, but you'll be able to see speedo and revs and gauges and whatnot. Hopefully it's not too low, but potentially be able to put on a little thing and bring it up a little bit, like put on a clip. If it's on the harness, I can probably slide it up a little bit higher and hold it up. So yeah, be interesting to see. Yeah, still a lot of stuff to learn with this, lots of stuff to play around with. Really excited though. Cool little camera. I said first impressions, really, really happy with it. Selfie stick that came with it is sick. Very, very thin at the far end, but aluminium construction, you can hear. Oh, sorry, mic's here, you can hear. Aluminium construction, quite a lot of length on it. I mean, that's sitting on the ground and I'm like 5'8", 5'9". So it's, 5.5 foot at least. Yeah, and holding it at full length, this way, holding it full length, it's not, it doesn't feel extra heavy. There is a fair bit of weight in the camera. If I was sitting there holding like this all day long, yes. If you hold it in front of yourself and kind of brace your arm, it's quite easy. I'm really interested. Being Langford as well, I'm thinking when I'm doing photography at events, being able to hold it out over the track and get cars coming past, getting some pretty sick stuff. I can shoot up to, I know I can do 1080p 240. I don't think I can do, 4K I can do up to 120 frames a second. But 1080p I can do up to 240 frames a second, which is going to be interesting. That's some super, 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 super slow-mo. I have played around with it. I actually filmed like my entire drive home from work at 1080p 240, just to see what it's like. Yeah, it can slow down really, really far. Playing normally looks fine, and then slowing it down is very, very smooth. So I'm going to be really keen to see how that looks at the track. I'll probably record a couple of sessions, like a couple of my runs in 240. Obviously, it creates a much bigger file size as well. I have to get a new memory card for this as well. It has got a 128 gig. I want to get a 256. It does take 512. They say it's compatible up to 512. I do want to get a 256. I don't like going to maximum capacity. Long story short, I much rather record stuff on multiple memory cards than one big memory card and lose everything. You don't want to know what happened there. There's a reason I've learned from that, and yeah, you don't want to know. That wasn't fun times. So I'm getting a 256 memory card for it. Should give me at 4K about 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours recording, which in a drift environment where you're running for 3 minutes at a time for open track day things, if you're competing 30-second run, that is a lot of recording. But yeah, I'll get that. If I need more, I'll get another 256 memory card and have a couple of them going. Outside of that, we'll leave it here, wrap it up. As I said, once I get into it a little bit more, I'm actually really enjoying this little vlogging camera as well. Works really good. The fact that I can see myself on the front screen, so I'll turn it on so you can see. Let's turn this to, let's just turn auto off. There you go, so we can see it. So might be able to see in the front screen if it's toned down a little bit. So that's actually the front screen's got the viewfinder as well. So it actually makes it as a vlogging camera when you can point it and look at yourself and see exactly what you're framing and see what's behind you, etc. Makes it really good. Way easy to use. I'm really happy with it. Like, it's so far really easy to use. I just throw it in my pocket at work, carry it around with me. Yeah, really happy with it so far. But I'll go into much more in depth once I've used it and actually put it really through its paces at a track day, and then we'll see what it's made of, and hopefully get plenty of good video for you guys to watch. On that, I'll leave this video here. Don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the fun stuff down below. There is still a lot of people that watch these videos that have not subscribed. I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Mid-year would be great. By my birthday would be awesome. Really want to get to 1,000 subscribers this year, just to kind of get the channel going. And we all know what it means with 1,000 subscribers. I can start monetizing. Not that it's why I'm doing it, but it's a cool little milestone to go, hey, you got 1,000 subscribers. Also helps with sponsorship too, approaching bigger companies if I have a bigger social media presence. But don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Stay awesome, stay amazing, stay safe. See you out there.